Dear students, in this chapter, in this lesson, there are three small descriptions, and the name of the lesson is A Tale of Three Villages. Now, the theme is focused on the destruction of the environmental habitats. As we are discussing in this chapter about the biodiversity from worldwide, three villages have been chosen to show the intensity of the destruction of natural habitats and how does it affect the ecological balance. So the lesson's name is A Tale of Three Villages. The first story or the description is about a village in Nigeria, Cocoa Village. So Cocoa Village is the first description. Let us see what is it about. So Mrs. Sunday Nana is the name of a person, and his wife and four children. They live in a village called a Cocoa Village. It's in Nigeria, that is in the African continent. The village is like any other African village. You know, Africa, what is the general condition? There are a lot of beautiful places, and also it's very colorful area, and it's having a lot of noisy atmosphere of the people. So the Nana's family or his house also is having all the other happiness, the children and the remaining family members. They used to have very fun in the village. So with mud, the house is made up of mud actually, not a very concrete building, and is having a rusting corrugated iron roof. The roof is made not with concrete, it's made with iron sheet, and with the children and chickens sharing the compound. You can see the chickens or the hens, they are sharing the space with the human beings. The goats would be there, the rest of the dogs which are domesticating in the home. So a beautiful occasion. There is one difference, however. Outside Mr. Nana's in front there are large three empty metal drums. Now the description is about the metal drums. Somebody had brought a full lorry or a vehicle full of load of the metal drums. They unloaded the drums in front of his house. The bright red paint now flaking away, but the skull and crossbones symbol clearly visible on. So what is the symbol on that? On the symbol of, on the drum, the symbol of, what is that? Yes, the skull and the bones are shown. What do you mean by skull and bones symbol? It's the symbol of the danger. Okay, and in a clearing 200 meters away from the village, next to a stream, the villagers get to the drinking water from. It's an enormous pyramid of identical drums reaching to the sky. So the very near to his home, we can find, what is that? A stream is there, small river, beautifully running river. So very near to that only, now we can find these drums are placed, and they are like pyramids. Large number of drums are there. From each drums there is a leakage. It's leaking, and can find some of them are badly corroded, and the slimy contents of various colors, grey, dark green, bright orange, etc. leaking out. So for all these drums, various chemicals are there. We do not know exactly what is the nature, but obviously it is poisonous. These chemicals are flowing, they are leaking because long time back it was placed there, and from the drums it is leaking. And what is the problem? It is making the water polluted. The water in the stream, in that small river, is getting polluted onto the baked African earth, and not only the land, the water, not only the what you call the water area, the surroundings, all area is getting polluted because of that chemicals leaked out from the metal drums, somehow fallen down, rolled down, or been rolled by the playful children. So while children were playing, sometimes they used to play with this drum. Even they do not know what is the kind of or the type of chemical present inside of that, or still it's flowing out. The children used to play there because that is their playing area. The children are playing, along with these chemicals are moving out, and sometimes it touches their body, sometimes it pollutes the total land and the water, and some are smoking in the midday heat. Okay, so somehow fallen down, rolled or been rolled by the playful children into the bush. So some are smoking inside some tray or some barrel from which the smoke is coming. Some are swelling as the contents are bursting out. Some have already burst. Most of the drums are now spoiled. Some are leaking. Some are about to burst. So because inside the chemicals are there, and they came. So when we ask the reason, when we ask the explanation about what about these chemicals, what kind of chemical is there, who brought and placed it there? So they say, Mr. Sunday say, they came on a Wednesday, and many big lorries came, it seems, at a time. Many big lorries, not one or two. They took all day unloading. The whole day it took for the people to unload it. No one told us what was that, because these are village people, not very educated people, to question them who brought it, where from it is. Nobody asked, and no one gave any reply. But they gave, and they gave the chief a brown paper bag. I saw him smiling. The lorries drove away. So the village person, what do you call, the sarpanch or like that a person, the chief was there. They gave some money as a cover for him. In that, when he got that cover, this person got so happy, and I saw him smiling as the lorries drove away. The lorries went off because he gave the permission for that drums to be unloaded, and he got the commission for that. That's why the village chief got happy. And this was how many? He said on Wednesday it came. How many days before? 5 years ago on a Wednesday it came. Okay, 5 years ago it came, and then 3 months ago, one of the brightest boys in the village, among the this African community people, one boy who is a little bit brilliant, he had already gone to college and all recently. So Thomas Agonio, he started his studies, college education in the Lagos. Lagos is a place near Nigerian town. Okay, he came home one weekend and with a new chemistry book, and spent all day looking at the drums and writing things down and talking to himself and shaking his head. Why these people did not understand what he was doing? Because he was already educated. He was a student of the university, college student he was. So he studied. He understood. He was writing down the names of from the drums description outside. It is in the what kind of chemical is that, what is the nature, when it was manufactured, all the details were in that drum. He was writing down and he was talking to himself, because why he did not want to share to others? Other people are not educated, therefore he knew that others won't understand what he was speaking. So we all thought that he had got mad. When he was talking to himself, the village people thought that he had already gone mad. Then he called a meeting of the village and told us that the drums contained poisonous chemicals. One evening, he called all the village people, elders, and told that these drums contain all poisonous chemicals. So, Mr. Sunday, I did not know where that is. What is that chemical and all? I did not know from where it came. It came from? Did it come from Europe or not? I did not know. Mr. Sunday Nano stopped and frowning, a troubled look at his face. The last 5 years, Mr. Sunday says, he did not know anything about the details, but he knew only one thing. For the last 5 years after these lords were placed here, see, more than 13 people have died in the village. 13 people have died in the village, and my own brother elder brother was one among them who died because of the pollution, chemicals leaked out from the drum, and they have been in pain. They were in pain and terrible pain before they died, because cancer or such kind of disease they might have got. We have never seen the deaths like that before. Lots of our children are sick. See, not only the elders, even the kids, the children have become sick. And we have asked the government to take the drums away, but the government is not doing anything. Negligence from the part of the government. We have returned it to Italy, to European country, but they do nothing. The chief says, means the sarpanch, the authority, village authority says that we should move our houses to another place. That person, he got commission money, and now he says that we can't, or the authorities will not do positive things. What you have to do? We have to shift from here to another village. Instead of removing the drums, he says that we people have to shift to another place. But we have no money to buy the land. How can we go? Because this place where their fathers, forefathers, grandparents all were living, no, well settled. They have home, everything, and to go to other place, they have to buy land, they have to construct a home. For all these expenditures, who will give? We have no choice, but you have to stay here. Now that's what Mr. Sandanana says. His helplessness that to go away to other place, because he has no money to leave this place, so he is suffering. Not only he, the rest of the village people are suffering, pointing, and he is pointing at the mountain of death, declaring, are our neighbors. Okay, so this is the condition of the village. So did you understand something about the destruction of the habitat by the factory owners? Okay, we'll continue with the next story. Now students, here the second story. Out of the 3 stories, the second story. Ponimanturi village in India, somewhere in Tamil Nadu. Okay. So the story is like this. I can remember the time, she said, she means one lady, wistfully, when all the fields around this village were green and harvest good. So an old lady, she remembers that there was a time that the village was looking quite green in nature and had full of harvest. And her outstretched arm described a complete circle as she stood in the morning. So when she was telling this whole village, that's what, a complete circle. This whole village was once upon a time greenish in look and had full of harvest. Then they built those monsters. Then looking at that side, she says, then what did they do? They built, they constructed those monsters. Monsters means monster means a wild, a horrible living thing. Okay, but here those factories, she's talking about, looking at the faraway place, she shows that those factories were constructed. Her voice spluttered in anger. Why she used that word, the monster? Because she got angry. Those factories were constructed, and looking back, buildings on the horizon and covered in a low lying shroud of thick smoke. Because from the factories, what is coming? From the factories? Yes, the smoke is coming. Pollutant gases are coming. They said that factories need leather to make shoes, handbags and clothes. So the factories are making what? The shoes, handbags and leather clothes, because industrialization has changed the face of the world. So they said our menfolk would get jobs while constructing the factories. What did the company people say? They told that all the men in the village would get jobs if they start the company. So naturally the village people were very happy to get the job now, because men will get the job, family will be saved. But whereas many people did not get the job, whereas they started the factories. We stood silent thinking, and they said that we would become rich if the factory is set up in this village. So they all cooperated in the beginning, as I told you that, but there is so much they didn't tell you. So many things, many promises they gave in the beginning, but nothing was made into possible. They did not tell you that change animals' skins into leather, which they call tannins, as many as 250 different chemicals. They never shared, they never told them that while tanning means while the processing of the manufacturing of leather, almost 250 types of chemicals are used, and these chemicals include what is that, heavy metals such as cadmium, arsenic and chromium, that these people did not know about it. They did not tell you that these chemicals are discharged into the atmosphere or the environment, and the chimneys stacks fall to the earth for miles. Not only in that surroundings, for miles and miles, its poisonous gases were going and affecting very badly. So the surrounding so many kilometers or miles, the villages, not only this particular village, so many villages, that area was completely damaged because of the pollution. They did not tell you that this would poison your fields so that nothing will grow. They just told that your all men will get the job and you would become rich. Really, did it happen? Nothing happened. There was a big cheating. And they did not tell us that the chemicals would be dumped into the open fields, into our rivers. After manufacturing the waste materials, where they will dump it, they dumped into the rivers, they dumped into the open paddy fields. Paddy fields were destroyed, the fields were destroyed, the rivers were destroyed. They just told in the beginning that your men will get job and you will become rich. Nothing had happened. Who said that? The lady who described this incident is Vijay Sama. And we had been thinking the same thoughts, and they did not tell you that our women would have to walk 10 kilometers every day. They did not tell that your women will have to walk for 10 kilometers to fetch water. What happened? In the beginning, greenery was there, everything was there, harvests were there, crops were there, water was there, everything was there, but now nothing is there. All the rivers are dried up, all the fields are dried up, no trees are there, no rainfall is there. They did not say that these all things are going to happen in your village. They never said. Simply they cheated these innocent people by telling that your husbands or the women would get the job. And they did not tell us that we would get ulcer and sores on our bodies. They never said that you are going to get ulcer after starting this company. Ulcer means wounds in our industrial digestive system. They did not tell us. So like that, what they did not say, they promised only one thing: your men would get the job and you will become rich. And the poor innocent people, they believed it. They never mentioned that. They never said that these all things will happen. Your village will become just like a land of no use, like that. They did not say. So her voice trailed off means what? She was about to cry when she remembers what kind of changes has happened for her village. And there is so much they did not tell you, I thought. So still she wanted to say the promises that they did not make it. They made only one promise. Two promise. One, men will get the job. Other one, they would become rich. Nothing happened. But the things which happened is more and many and many. Okay. We don't buy leather shoes or leather handbags or leather clothes. We don't want. What we want is basically food, want water, basic necessities. And we don't buy shoes, leather bags, leather clothes and all. We don't want. Then what for this factory was made in our village? To kill us, to destroy the environment of our village. That's what the story of village name is Pannamanthuri village in South India somewhere. Okay, we'll continue with the third story. Now the third story is from Vorobyev village of Ukraine. Ukraine is the old name of USSR. Okay, so it happened on April 26th, 1986. The story of a big gas tragedy. I remember the date because it was my mother's birthday. So the person who narrated the story is about, these are all descriptions. Okay, and we heard the explosion in the early morning. Chernobyl tragedy. It's called a Chernobyl tragedy. We heard that sound, and because there had been explosion before from Chernobyl. Chernobyl is a place where the nuclear power plant was existing, located. Nuclear power plants for producing the nuclear energy, and nuclear energy is made from the very radioactive elements, and therefore any tragedy, any accident that happens there, it would be very dangerous. Okay, so but this one was bigger, a big small events were there, explosions were there, but this time it happened a big one, and everyone stopped when what they were doing and listened, because sound was so huge, and they never expected that this time the explosion that occurred were about to kill thousands and thousands of people. So we could see a cloud of white smoke coming from the nuclear reactor. Natasha Revenko wiped her hands nervously over her apron. Tears came to the corners of her eyes and slid slowly down her pale cheeks. So people are now remembering the days of Chernobyl tragedy. It was a Saturday. Okay, she went on, still wiping her hands on her apron. Apron is the overcoat of the doctors, nurses, and all are using it. And it was a lovely warm day. The children played outside all weekend. And Saturday, children would be free to play, so they were playing outside. So when the wind was blowing, they never expected, the children who were playing outside, they did not expect that a tragedy was going to happen. The children were still playing outside. They picked up handfuls of it and throw it at each other. So when the dust is falling, the children used to play with the sand, mud, and all. So this sand they collected and they were throwing each other. The children were throwing to and fro, they were throwing, and this dust contained chemicals. It was Wednesday before the loudspeaker one came to the village telling us to keep our children indoors and not to touch the radioactive dust. So the announcement came after 2 days, that the announcement was what? Not to touch the dust particles, not to take the dust particles, because it contained what? It contained radioactive materials. And they told us to wash down and our houses and roads with water. The authorities came and told. A week later, children began to vomit. The symptoms started, and then their hair fell out. They did not eat. They grew thin, and sores appeared all over the body. The sores were developing, and 2 weeks later, all the three died. Of the same family, 3 children died. Not only in one family it happened, almost every home it happened like this. Almost all the children of that locality, that area, died. She broke down now, cried quietly as she had done so many times before. So every time when she thinks about her children, she used to feel crying. And they are all buried over there, showed the place where the kids were buried. She pointed to the church graveyards. Lots of our village children and adults they died because of the radioactive radiations. And I touched her gently on her shoulder, leaving her to her bittersweet memories. So it all happened. Now we can understand. The fields were barren. Now this is a place where people are not now able to live. They had either died or been forcibly evacuated. Most of the people died. Even some people were there. The government authorities came and evacuated them, removed them by force. The fields were barren, nothing grew because the total area was polluted and nothing would ever grow again. Hereafter the plants or the crops would not grow in this village. No birds, no animals, no rabbit, nothing. No cow endlessly chewed, no horse neighed. That means what? It became perfectly unfit for all animals to live in. Natasha caught me up as we boarded the bus marked Moscow. While we were talking, Natasha, a friend, she came and told the bus is now ready, going to Moscow. Thank you for coming with me, she said. I wanted to see the graves and the house once again before I die. So she said, I wanted to see the graves where the dead bodies were buried and the house again before I die. See, that's how the description about, or the story or the tale about three villages. One is in India, one was in Russia, and the first one is where? First story of Nigeria. In different places it happened. But all over the world, this phenomenon still continues. Destruction of the natural habitat by the urbanization, by the breaking off or the burst of nuclear reactors and all. Okay, we'll continue.